Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, and welcome to another episode of All Intuitive Conversation, where I encourage individuals to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. Today, I have the pleasure of connecting for the first time with Rushell. So let's bring her to the screen. Aloha, Rushell.
Hi,
How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, let me not assume too much because I have learned plenty of times I have individuals that call internationally or in different areas. So, is it morning for you?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock a.m.
Okay, so where are you located?
I'm located in South Carolina.
Ah, born and raised?
I am, yep, born and raised.
Interesting. So, have you been anywhere else besides South Carolina?
I haven't lived anywhere else outside South Carolina, but I have visited places.
Hmm. Okay. So, tell me what is it that you love about South Carolina?
Honestly,
Uh huh.
nothing right now. I'm still in school, so I am ready to leave South Carolina. I've been here my whole life, so I feel like it's time for a new change. But
Hmm. Okay. Immediately came out is the strength card and this female with this lion. And a lot of times people would think of this when they say a lion of like that could be dangerous, but she is calm and relaxed and kind of in control of the situation. Here's what it says, Rochelle. Personal power and assertiveness portrayed with kindness, compassion that brings about forgiveness, realizing that you are stronger than you knew. So it's already kind of coming through about you moving and needing a change. What was that final spark for you that kind of said, yes, I actually want to move and do something different?
um, honestly, I feel like I just needed something new. I like things that are kind of fast paced, and I feel like being back home, being in South Carolina, I'm in my comfort zone. So I just
Mm-hmm.
step out of my comfort zone, try something new. Um,
Uncomfortable, uneasy, looks like the others. Uh huh. Hmm. So where are you thinking about going?
honestly, I'm open to going anywhere, not really particular. Maybe Texas, maybe DC. I'm not doesn't matter. I just want to do a lot of travel. Now I don't want to stay somewhere too long in my
Mm-hmm.
side of the career. So just kind of explore different areas, see what I really like and where I would want to end up.
Okay. So it's interesting that you say it really doesn't matter. I'm going to dig a little deeper in that sense. So I know you got a feeling of something that you want to really do because it's the world is a very big place and you
Mhm.
can wind up just about anywhere. So
Yeah.
let's like boil down a little bit because you did mention Texas. What is it about Texas that's kind of attracting you?
I think right now it's a lot of the idea of Texas. It just seems to be like a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's really big. There's a lot of good places to go, a lot of good food to eat, and a lot of things to do. So right now the idea of having opportunities, but again, like, I don't really know until I have the opportunity to stay there for a certain amount of time and see if this is really something I want to do.
Uh-huh. Um, interesting because I just got a chill. So the next card that came out here is balance, and it's this angel. And notice that he has his foot on land and foot on water, which kind of covers both areas. And so it says, blending the ideas of others with your own to create something extraordinary, successful compromise, the power of diversity, self control, patience, and balance. So let's go through. You said you were in school?
Currently in school, yeah.
What are you studying?
I'm actually getting a master's in human resources.
People.
Yeah.
Tell me what sparked that to say I want to study people.
Um, I kind of fell into it, honestly. I didn't have a plan on what I wanted to do. I just know I wanted to get my master's. I recently graduated undergrad with a background in marketing and mass communications. And I was just thinking, okay, well, I want to get my master's. I don't really want to go directly into the workforce right now. And it honestly just happened. I walked in on the info session that they were doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of attracted just by hearing the opportunities that I would get from joining the program. So that's kind of how I ended up here studying HR.
Okay. So based off of what you've already said about where you want to live, based off of how you just said your study, you just kind of fell into these things. Would you describe yourself as a free spirit, free flow, just whatever comes your way?
Honestly, it kind of sounds like that when I was talking about program, but I feel like I'm kind of structured. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to say that I'm a free spirit. I feel like I have the idea of what I want to do. It's just at the time I knew that I wanted to get a master's in something, but not specifically know what. But other than that, outside of that, I feel like I'm pretty solid. I have a plan and I try to go with that because I kind of see where I want to be in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
So just having my goals and having everything mapped out.
Okay. So the next question that came out here is now going from another blue, and it says the theme is dealing with purification, which I'm gonna say going back here with water and land when you step into the foot. You know, there's remember. I'm sure you've heard of like baptisms kind of thing, going to the water. And so the oil that you got is cleansing, and the trigger statement says, "Their opinion matters to me." The true statement, "I see things in a new way." As you release external influences and energy, you will become clear with regard to what is needed. You care what people think about you and what you do?
Not I wouldn't say I do. I feel like people are always gonna have something to say, and I can't change what they think or what they do. So try not to really care about what people say about me.
Mm-hmm. That's a interesting stance because there are lots of individuals that do,
Mhm.
and it keeps them limited from going out and doing things that they really wanted to do. And so I'm being called and directed to 2 years from now. Describe your life to me.
2 years from now, I would say I would be in my career. I would have started my career, hopefully have traveled,
Mhm.
lived in maybe a different state or two. Also pursuing my business, entrepreneur. So trying to have that grow and really kind of at its peak at that point. And then being able to kind of assign someone else to manage it while I start another company. I'm really big on serial entrepreneurship and I'm really big on growth. So really kind of in the process of having that being at the peak and then starting something else
Okay.
independent.
So tell me about your business.
So it's called The Girl Dropping Knowledge. It's on my back screen. It's an educational company that is focused on helping students win scholarships and then using those scholarships to advance their careers. And then I do that through digital and hard copy products as well as services like power chats. I'll do a one-on-one call with the student, putting together an action plan or having an open Q&A is really their time and however they want to spend it. So I have that service as well in addition to the digital and hard copy products.
Uh-huh. Um, so the image that came out here is this female, and she's exuding as the card would say divine masculine, but she is like chilling, confident in who she is, and like kind of just taking care of business. Tell me, how does this picture resonate with you?
Well, when I see that picture, I just see someone who just seems to have it together. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
can't really see it. She's like have a glass of wine or something, or
Like a cup of coffee. Mm-hmm.
yeah, something like that. She seems like she has it together, or she's in a good place.
What if I told you that gives me the sense of energy of what your balance could be 2 years from now? Do
Just
you?
kind of in a good place. I feel like it would be ideal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the purification that's kind of coming through, what would what do you feel would hesitate you or keep you from having this energy and this vibe 2 years from now? What do you think about?
I feel like anything that would prevent me, honestly, would possibly be maybe myself or just feeling that what I'm doing isn't important. So really just kind of getting in my head, I think would be the biggest thing, or not applying, trying hard. I feel like that would be the two biggest things. Getting in my head and not putting my best forward could be something that could potentially harm me or prevent me from getting to something good.
Hmm. So the card that came out is frustration. What potentially frustrates you about your business?
I feel like since I'm still in this startup phase, a lot of
Uh-huh.
times hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But understanding that it is a process, like Rome wasn't built overnight, it's gonna take some time. So I feel like,
Uh-huh.
and I think that's kind of almost every entrepreneur's frustration when they're first starting, seeing that you put all this work into something and it's just kind of slowly growing.
Hmm.
So of course, I think it just comes with being an entrepreneur. Everything takes time.
So here's a card that came out. The question says, what else could this mean? There are always multiple ways to look at every situation. Our first reaction is usually rooted in our fears and limiting beliefs. Look at a situation today by stepping outside of the trigger and ask, what else could this mean? So, based off of what you just said, the sabotaging behavior that could limit to you, what else could that mean to you?
It could be that I'm not, I guess the sabotaging is that I'm not exploring every opportunity that I could use to grow my business. Um, being kind of like reserved when I can be more aggressive in certain areas. I think
You
that's what.
stepping in and out, half in, half out.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what it would be.
Why? You got the strength.
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like I have no idea. It could just be me being getting in my head, kind of like I said before, just thinking, overthinking it, or just not doing
Hmm.
it.
Okay. So let's release that. Moving forward. So tell me about that moment when you decided to start your business, and especially in scholarship and helping students. What's because usually when you're especially an entrepreneur, there was some motivational reasons that you know what, I'm going to help individuals do that. Tell me about that story.
So, well, kind of a it's kind of a backstory. So I grew up in a
Hmm.
really small community in the country, and I had to go outside of my community to get a lot of resources. So, meaning when I say resources, understanding scholarships, internships, just stepping outside my comfort zone and joining different programs. And I created a goal, and that goal was to get a full ride to school, or if not a full ride, at least a lot of scholarships. I didn't have to take out a lot of loans. So
Hmm.
fast forward 4.5 years to where I am at now, um, me setting that goal and then me challenging myself and learning how to apply to scholarships, I was awarded almost $250,000 in
Girl,
scholarships.
yes.
So I did all of that, and then like my master's program, I'm on a full ride here, and not just stopping at scholarships. I used my scholarships to advance my career. So like in college, I wasn't. I know a lot of people are saying in college you don't really have a lot of money. That was the opposite because I worked at internships. I worked at IBM, Johnson and Johnson, Amazon, and so many more companies, and I used my scholarships as the starting point to advance my career. So that was like the main reason, one of the main reasons. And then another thing is a lot of my peers on campus, they kept coming up to me and like, well, can you help me with my resume? Or can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I was like, okay, sure. And then
Hmm.
what kind of push it forward is when I would go on my internships, a lot of the people that I would speak to or work with, they were parents. And I would kind of tell them I was really selective on what I would say about my scholarships. At the time, I just felt like it's a personal thing. I should only keep it internally. But honestly, it's something to share
I'm about to
because
say
people
you
are
did the work.
right. So I feel like now that I've understood that, and when you share it, people really start to open up. Like, oh my gosh, I have a child, and you understand that no matter how much money someone makes, scholarships will always be helpful for a child or someone that they know because that's the money they want to keep. So after hearing, that the people that I worked with, they were, oh wow, how did you do it? I want my
Hmm.
daughter, I want my son to go to school for free. So seeing that there was a need, and then when I started to explore it some more, it kind of it proved that this is actually a problem. Like we know student debt is just crazy high. And like one of the goals that I actually kind of recently created was to try to narrow, like, decrease student loans in America. And of course, that's a huge goal. It's not going to be accomplished possibly in my lifetime, but I feel like that's a good goal to have. So having that goal, seeing that problem, and actually doing the work to see how it could be beneficial, within school, within funding, also within my career. That was
Hmm.
like the whole backbone of why I started my business and why I started creating the products that I've created to try to help students. And right now, like I'm saying, the biggest issue that I'm having is getting it out there, and not only getting it out there, getting people to see the value and seeing that it is an investment. You can pay the scholarship products and get the stuff, the information, or have to turn around and pay student debt or student loans. And that's not the route that you want to take. So that's kind of the overview of why I started my business.
And as you were sharing that, it was beautiful. And I was saying, okay, Emmanuel, show us who is the energy that Rochelle is embodying. And I went to my soul sisters deck, and you got the sister soldier. Have you ever
Mm.
heard of her before?
I feel like maybe this might be corny, but maybe in a song like
She's
by
a
Shy.
rapper. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
I think I might have heard of the song.
So notice what she's standing by. She's standing by a podium with the microphone. And then of course the look is kind of similar to your look. And the colors based off of your AGDK. Here's what it says that she embodies. Sister Soldier, power. And I told you, you already got the strength here from the very beginning. She has impact, persuasiveness, force, engagement, activism, community service. Sound familiar of anything that you just shared in your story? Here's what it says: words have power, and Sister Soldier has plenty of them. As a female rapper, she became a de facto member of Public Enemy, the first woman to align with the legendary hip hop group. She released her debut album, 360 Degrees of Power, in 1992. The same year, she became notorious for speaking out against then President Bill Clinton's racial remarks on America. It was known as the Sister Soldier movement in American politics, but she had many moments to follow. While her memoir, No Disrespect, set the tone for Sister Soldier's book writing career, it was 1999, the coldest winter ever, that secured her fate as the queen of hip hop literature. Though through books, activism, and consistently speaking out for change, Sister Soldier is still a public enemy at the patriarchy. If you're feeling a gravitational pull to change the world, because you already have put a self limiting belief, like I may never see it during my lifetime. No limits, right? Like,
Mm.
do the work that you're doing. You could potentially see that change, but don't use the words that say, I won't see it in my lifetime. Like, release that. Sister Soldier can slowly move upward until one day you have a massive impact. You'll never know until you try, but pulling this card is a sign that it's time for some action. Think with some community groups or form your own, which you have. The best part of being an agent for change is there's no wrong way to do it, as long as you think like a soldier and keep your boots on the ground. How does that resonate with you?
I feel like it had a lot of common things, like her being up there. Like when I saw the picture, it just showed that she's up there speaking because I do like to do speaking things to reach out to students or just the community. So I feel like it's It's ideal. It has a lot of things I see in myself.
Hmm. And as she said, there was a time where she spoke against, a president, right?
Mhm.
Like I said, what you're talking about, going to college, not having loans, and doing all those different things, and related to that, that's going against the quote unquote system, right? But the voice definitely needs to be heard, continue to be like encouraged. But like watch your words, like how you're, don't limit yourself. There's no limit. Just go
Mhm.
forth, do all those different things. So the question is then becoming, as you continue to work on this journey, and I'm getting the whole sign based off of your own logo, have you actually written down your goal?
I've written down actually, so I did this year. I have a goal bingo sheet, and it's like I don't have. I know the big goal because they're like very 2 to 3 big goals that I have for my business. But what I've done was I created the smaller steps that it will take me to reach that goal. So I have a 24 bingo sheet,
Mm-hmm.
a different card for every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And as I go through the months, I try to scratch off each goal that I'm going through. And I try to just, again, work at my own pace and try to at least get a couple of goals scratched off at the end of every quarter. And then if not, then just keep going with it, going back to it.
Yes. So it's still encouraging you. Release any fear you may have. Go ahead and write down what the big goal is. It's great. Continue to stay with those little steps, but write it down what the big goal is. Because there's something to be said of when it's, up here and it travels down from your hand into the ink, into the paper, and put it like in this little special box that you have it like this is what it is, date it. It's not something that you have to look at every day or anything like that. You continue to keep doing your bingo sheets. But go ahead and write down what the big goal is, because you want to be sure-footed. It's not in or out. There's no room for like being able to change it, because when it manifests, you're gonna go back and you can be like, God, dog, there it is in
Right.
writing.
I am going to do that. Actually, after this call, I'm going to go to Boston and get a secret box and
There you
put
go.
I'm gonna do it because I do think that would be really, really helpful. Because I feel like I have so many little things and I don't want to forget the details of the big things. I have been seeing in the past, like just on social media, on YouTube, on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
goal setting strategies, and I have done something similar to that before, where I wrote a letter to myself, and I kind of just wrote it, typed it in my notes, and I did it on paper before. And I tucked it away. And it's so crazy because I feel like I've unconsciously done that over the years. When ever since I was little, I would write down little things like CEO or billionaire or this, and then I would kind of scatter them in places at home and
Uh-huh.
not see them. And just recently, I came across it was on a tiny sheet of paper, like something I tore off, came across it and I saw that it said, I will be a CEO. And I was like, I wrote that years ago. But now look at me. So I've been unconsciously doing little things, writing it down and then literally forgetting about it. And then coming back to it, I feel like when the time has been right. So
So
I
your
think
team is connecting back to you to remind you of that. Now just be intentional with it. Like you said, get you a cute little box. You write it down. Like, okay, this is what the goal is. It's because I know where it is, and it's not by accident that you come across that paper, but rather, yeah, I did that. I wrote that out, and here's what it is.
yeah,
Because it's no accident either that it's in your logo. Like that is, I think, something that's ingrained in you to write things out. Because we all have like different ways that our team kind of communicates with us. But to me, as I was reading this, like I said, a girl dropping knowledge is like, yeah, drop that knowledge, drop it on paper, put it away. Because, like I said, when you have those challenges and you're frustrated in the moment and you're self doubt, what do people a lot of times go back to? They say, is it in black and white? Was it written down? Like contracts. Like, what does it say on the paper? And you saying that on that paper, that's what that means. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to achieve. They're
yeah,
reminding you that's what you're supposed to continue to do.
yeah.
Go do
That's
great
it.
things.
I am. Thank you
Get,
so
get,
much.
get these kids out of these student loan debts. Show them how
Yeah.
to do it. And be proud of them numbers too. Yeah, girl, I got like 600, $600,000 in scholarships. Yes. You go. You do that. So those individuals that yes, I want to know more about that and encourage you on your journey as you continue to live smart. How can they reach you?
I am on Instagram. It's at a girl d knowledge underscore. You can find me on all social media platforms on that same under that same handle, a girl d knowledge.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming to have an all intuitive conversation with me as you go forth. I do hope you were encouraged to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. Thank you for those that have joined us. If you are interested in being a guest, you can learn more on my YouTube channel and my website, All Intuitive Conversation. And until we meet again, this has been an All Intuitive Conversation.
Thank you.
Yes.